We're plotting a definitive ranking of sci-fi movies, from the worst scientific offenders at the bottom to the genre-defining masterpieces at the top. When you sit down for a movie, you're investing 2 hours of your life. You face a constant dilemma. You don't want a boring physics textbook, but you also don't want a mindless spectacle with a plot so absurd it insults your intelligence. Evaluating these films is not about nitpicking equations. As astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson points out when analyzing the genre, it comes down to identifying the filmmakers who actually respect their audience's intellect. This chart maps the framework, weighing scientific accuracy against narrative quality. Look at the extremes. Pure fiction abandons reality on one end, and rigid science anchors the other. F-tier disasters live at the bottom, while S-tier classics rise to the top. The goal is finding the exact trade-off. The best movies break physical laws only when it secures their narrative survival. This chart shows the bottom of the cinematic barrel. Here in the F and E tiers, we have the zero-effort violators, movies that proceed without any scientific baseline. Take Disney's The Black Hole or Matrix Revolutions. They script entire scenes without a physicist in sight, ignoring basic thermodynamics. When you draw energy from humans to power machines, you get less energy out than you put in. Ignoring that leaves the plot completely disconnected from reality. Moving up to the D and C tiers, we find the popcorn compromises. These directors prioritize emotional manipulation over logical continuity. You see this logic gap in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. A massive alien mothership arrives at Devil's Tower, and the government impossibly manages to hide this visitation from a public completely equipped with eyeballs and cameras. Or look at Armageddon. Instead of hitting the ocean, which covers 70% of the planet, random comet fragments surgically decapitate the Chrysler Building in New York. That exact same debris path then perfectly glides right through the front door of Grand Central Terminal to take out the clock. Films in the C and D tiers deliver immediate dopamine rushes. But to get that spectacle, you sacrifice total intellectual engagement. This chart now brings us to the B tier, the flawed visionaries. Here, high-budget physics meets frustrating narrative shortcuts. Christopher Nolan built Interstellar with a massive investment in authentic theoretical physics. He embedded world-renowned cosmologist Kip Thorne directly into the story's development to ensure the relativity and black holes were accurate. Yet the film stumbles on a massive gap in logic. We are asked to believe that finding a wormhole, traveling across the universe, and terraforming an exoplanet is somehow easier than biologists figuring out how to cure a crop blight back on Earth. Gravity falls into the exact same trap. It accurately depicts the Kessler effect, showing how a destroyed satellite creates a terrifying chain reaction of debris. But in a zero-gravity environment, George Clooney's character lets go of a taut tether and inexplicably falls away, blatantly ignoring basic momentum. The B tier delivers a premium, scientifically rigorous experience. The trade-off is that you have to painfully suspend your disbelief right at the emotional climax. This diagram highlights the A tier by introducing the hall pass concept. A movie gets 99% of the science right, and in exchange, we grant them one necessary fiction to make the story happen. The Martian earns its A tier ranking precisely this way. It achieves near-perfect accuracy in its orbital dynamics and survival mechanics. Its one hall pass is the inciting incident. Mars has an air density 1% that of Earth. A massive dust storm would feel like a gentle breeze and could never rock a heavy spaceship. But without that singular lie, Mark Watney doesn't get stranded. Consider how director James Cameron uses the exact same trade-off in The Terminator. He accurately pairs the physical momentum of a shotgun blast with the necessary massive fiction of time travel. Finally, we reach the S tier. These are the canon masterpieces that build their narrative engines entirely on flawless internal logic. 2001: A Space Odyssey remains the ultimate standard. Based on the writing of Arthur C. Clarke, the production utilized actual scientific advisors to maintain absolute rigor. They paid such close attention to the realities of space travel that they nailed the atmosphere a full year before humanity ever walked on the moon. Films in the A and S tiers ask you to accept a foundational premise at minute 1. In exchange, they honor your intelligence for the rest of the runtime. This flowchart maps out your choices. It's about aligning your movie choice with the cognitive effort you want to spend tonight. If you want mindless entertainment and immediate spectacle, drop to the C tier. If you want a thrilling story and can forgive one major plot contrivance, you are a pragmatist. Choose the A or B tiers. But if you demand absolute internal consistency and are ready to invest active mental energy, you need the S tier. Never let bad physics ruin a good fiction. Just demand that the filmmakers earn the right to break the rules.